Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide. Today I'm doing this important comparison between these e-ink tablets. The Remarkable 2, Boox Note Air, and the Supernote A5X. If you are looking for a note-taking and reader e-ink capable device of a 10.3-inch format, chances are that you are looking and racking your brains around between these three devices. So let's check them out in depth and compare in different categories. As far as the overall design and build quality goes, all three devices are different and they are all well built and designed in its own right. However, there can be only one, as it says, and for me, unquestionably, absolutely unquestionably, it has to be the Remarkable 2, simply because for all of its different types of question marks as far as the software goes and all that kind of stuff, sure, we'll cover that, but I still maintain, as a hardware design, as a manufacturing thing, just as what they've managed to do, it is something to behold, and it is definitely an object of desire. Is it ideal? No, there are definitely some negative points and things like that. However, when compared between these guys, for me, it's definitely the winner. That's not to say that these are badly built at all. Note Air is excellently built. It really holds well in the hand. I prefer the wide format to this one here. So I really do like that the Note Air, for example, doesn't have the difference between the height between these guys. So format-wise, I really prefer what the Note Air has. And overall, it's a very funky and a lovely looking design. For me personally, I like the design more subjectively, but objectively, I believe that Remarkable 2 is just a little bit better. So I would give 8.5 to the Note Air, I would give 9 to Remarkable 2, and a Supernote A5X is also excellently built and designed, but it takes a completely different approach. I would give it the mark of 8, but it does have an excellent approach. It's all plastic affair, it's more robust, it's more longevity is supposed to be longer than glass and metal combination or glass aluminum combination, and it also has these things that are pretty cool. So all in all three devices are excellently designed and built, but Remarkable 2 is just a little bit better than the competition. As far as the writing experience goes, I'm gonna be taking into account the default factory state of the devices that you get. So that means the default factory pen that you get the device with and all that kind of stuff. And as such, I believe that Remarkable 2 is definitely the winner compared to these guys as well. Supernote is a very close second place, so I would mark Remarkable 2 writing feel, not quality, but writing feel on Remarkable 2. I would mark it as 9. It's really good, absolutely one of the best feeling devices out there, but Supernote is an extremely close second place. It has a very different feel to Remarkable 2, and the only thing that holds it back so that it's not on par with Remarkable 2 is that refresh speed. Writing is a little bit more comfortable on the Remarkable 2 simply because it's significantly thinner than the Supernote A5. However, the writing feel on the Supernote A5X really excellent and something that I love. Writing feel on the Note Air by default, which means no screen protector, and using the default Boox pen, the slippery one, is really bad. So that's something that I really dislike, and one of the first things that I did was search for a better pen and search for a good screen protector so that I can improve that writing experience. Now, I have found these things and they're massively improved. So for me, writing experience on my new and improved Boox Note Air with the Samsung Pen HP tip and ESR screen protector is now at around 8. I would grade it pretty much exactly the same as the Supernote A5X. However, without those additions, that's customization of your thing. With the defaults, with the pen that you get and this, I would grade it very, very low because it's super slippery. The pen is just going all over the place, and I personally really don't like it. So in writing experience itself or feel, it actually gets a 4. Writing quality is a different story. And what do I mean with writing quality? What writing quality means, for me at least in this category, the quality of the end result, the usability of the end result and the flexibility of the end result, what you get once you're done writing it on the device and getting it off the device to insert it into the rest of your workflow. And here things lie quite a bit differently. Here, the definitive winner for me is the Note Air and the Boox platform, simply because it has excellent filtering, anti-aliasing, and it does all of these things. It's also possible to export non-rasterized if you export from the Push Boox platform. So you have all of these options available on the Boox Note Air, and the end results are really just flawless, and no matter how I test them out, you have the nicest results from this platform here. The second place for me would be Supernote A5X, but it's not that close to Boox Note Air because at 6 points, which is how much I'm going to give it, is it's good, but it does have issues such as there is no option to export your notes as non-rasterized, which means that you get the PDF with the vectors of your notes. So that's one problem, because then they're not scalable and you can't modify them or anything like that. But more importantly, there is no anti-aliasing, there's no filtering, there's nothing like that. So the exported result is relatively low resolution and relatively low quality. So combined, when compared to the Boox platform or Note Air, you can see that on my dedicated video where I was actually comparing the quality between the different platforms. It's okay, but it definitely can be better. And I think if they improve the anti-aliasing option and the rasterization, basically so that it's non-rasterized, that you have an option to export as non-rasterized, then in my mind it would jump up to 10 immediately, because it will have all the options that you need. Remarkable 2 scores 5, and it's lowest on this category. Even though it has the best writing feel, the unfortunate thing is that the software platform is very limited and it has quite a few issues. Now, when you do export, you can get it non-rasterized, which is excellent, but it does have that other issue, which are those damned jagged lines, and they interfere with everything that I do. Exported writing, exported drawing, fonts, no matter what I do, exported results from the Remarkable 2 will unmistakably have that signature jiggliness and all that kind of stuff. By default, you cannot fix that. Remarkable 2 has said that it's not an important issue, and they might consider taking it into account and looking at it sometime in the future, so that just doesn't mean anything. Yes, there is Funky's fix, but it's a hack, and such hack also has caused some of the units to stop responding, and some people have issues, and that's why I don't do hacks. So I'm not interested in hacks. By default, this has the jagged line issue, and most of the users are reporting it as a problem. So that is the reason why the writing quality, the exported writing quality, scores lowest when compared to the competition. Note-taking category is about the capabilities of the platform itself. So that means what are you able to do and what are the note-taking functionalities on each of these different platforms. And here the situation is interesting for me, at least. Both Note Air and Supernote A5X, I graded them both at 9, simply because they offer excellent features but slightly different ones. But either way you look at them, they both have really good features, extremely functional and extremely usable. I think it comes down to personal preference. If you're gonna be preferring the ability to add titles and keywords into your notebooks and basically categorize them that way, or do you prefer having the ability to do word search through your handwritten notebooks on the Note Air? But there are also ways that you can mimic some of the behavior that you get on the Supernote A5X with titles and stuff. Not exactly the same, but similar type of behavior on Note Air. More on that in a different video. But equally powerful, equally capable. They have layers, they have all of these kind of things, customizable templates, easily to add background templates, your own templates, and all that kind of stuff. So extremely capable platforms both there, and really, really good performers. Unfortunately, Remarkable 2 really scores the lowest between these two as competitors at 6, simply because the note-taking capabilities are extremely closed off, as the entire platform is. So you do not have the ability to add titles, keywords, do word key search. You do have layers, and you do have really good brushes, much better brushes than the competition here. But as a note-taking device, it lags severely behind the competition, and it doesn't have the ability to add custom templates easily. You have to hack the device to add the custom templates, and it's just simply way too closed off and far behind the competition as far as the functionality of the notebooks go. However, I do want to mention that for drawing specifically, it has the best brushes, but there again we have the problem of the jagged lines that interfere with the end result of those drawings again. So as far as the reader functionalities go, well, it's a very straightforward story. It's a flat-out 10 score, full score that I can give to Boox Note Air, simply because the default Neo reader is absolutely exceptional, and you have, because it's an open Android platform, you have the ability to load up your Kobo reader, your Kindle reader, your whatever reader that you want, Xodo or whatever, Comixology, yeah. Whatever you choose, you can just simply load it up there and use it normally. So absolutely top of the line reader capabilities in the Boox devices. Not just Note Air, Note 3, blah, 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 all of the other ones. But in this comparison, Note Air scores 10. Supernote A5X scores a really good 7 score here, simply because it's a very capable and powerful reader platform, and it is able to do quite a lot of things really well. It also supports the Kindle app, which works perfectly fine, albeit a little bit slow, but it is there and it works fine. However, it does lack some features when compared to the Boox Note Air. For example, two are most notable: no split screen function for parallel reading and note-taking, and no ability to have a dictionary at all. So no built-in dictionary, no custom built-in dictionary or anything, and also those definitely take away points, and that's why it scores 7. Remarkable 2 scores the lowest, and it scores 2, simply because it is the most limited and the most unfunctional reader out there in the market. It can't bookmark, it can't do annotations, as in selecting text and adding notes. It can't do any of those things. Yes, you can mark up documents and you can export them, and that's pretty much about it. So extremely limited functionality as far as reader capabilities go on the Remarkable, and it just scores the lowest. And the additional problem is that it's been like that, unchanged, unfixed, and without any show of willingness to even try to fix things for over 3 years. So it's a lockdown platform that indicates strong unwillingness to even listen to the requests of the user base. And for me personally, all of that combined deserves a very low mark. In the pen category, I'm of course talking just about the default pens and default options that you're able to get the platform with. As such, unquestionably, the definitive winner is of course the Supernote A5X, because any of the options, it has most of the options available, and any of the options that you actually choose, be it a standard pen, Heart of Metal, or the Lamy EMR pen, they are all absolutely amazing. So first of all, these two, the standard and Heart of Metal, yes, they do not have a button as an eraser, so that's a negative, but a gigantic positive is that they both come with the Never Spend ceramic nibs or tips. So basically, right off the bat, you have a huge saver and a huge thing. It's like you don't have nibs that you have to worry about ever spending, and at 0.7 millimeters, they're significantly thinner and more comfortable to actually write with than the competition. The build quality is absolutely outstanding, and they just feel amazing. And if you do absolutely need that button, you can always go for the Lamy EMR pen, which does have that button, and it has an exchangeable nib, so you can use softer nibs should you choose to do so. excellent quality, excellent build quality, excellent performance. One of the absolute best pressure sensitivity calibrations in a pen that I've seen and experienced. It's just a Rolls Royce of a pen. So either one you choose for the Supernote A5X, outstanding performance. It's not 10 only because these two don't have a button for an eraser or an eraser function. If they had, then it would be a flat out 10 without any problems. Second place would be the Remarkable, because whether you choose the standard marker, I only have the standard marker, but I use the Marker Plus as well, which is basically the same thing, just black, and it has an eraser cap on the back. They both are really, really nicely built. They feel good, and they write really, really well. The nibs are excellent. I really like them, but they do spend relatively quickly, such as maybe about, depending on how hard you press and write and how much you write, yeah, they will get ugly over time, but I think you can squeeze out a month or a month and a half out of each nib easily. Now, I've seen some people changing them after 2 weeks, like as soon as they start getting ugly, but there's really no need to do that. You can just use a glass nail file, scrub off the stuff that's flattened out, and just continue using it, and off you go. Now, the low mark of 7 is simply because these are extremely pricey when compared to the competition, and the Marker Plus, which is now at $100, and it's basically the exact same pen, it just has an eraser in the back. Significant amount of people are reporting the build quality issues, such as I've seen quite horror images coming from the Facebook group and the Reddit, where the marker would fall on the floor, and if it's a Marker Plus, this one would simply, the eraser cap would simply pop off. Or, much worse, this whole section here would break. Not the nib, but the actual pen would break. So that's definitely a concern, that there's a bit of, that it's a brittle type of material. So something to kind of keep in mind, but it is magnetically powered, and it snaps on extremely well. So super, super strong. Yeah, some people are saying like it doesn't snap well. Well, that's because you're trying to do it here, here, and places where you're not supposed to. There's a very specific place where you need to have it, which is here. And then it holds incredibly well. Will it hold and not fall off if you tumble it around in your briefcase or in your bag? Probably not, because it's just magnet, but you know, you have to use common sense. If it was so strong that nothing in the world can actually knock it out of the bag, then it would be too strong to use normally on a daily basis. So I think it's a really good balanced solution as far as the magnet go, and it's a really good design. I love the fact that the pen is indented here, that it fits the side of the device nicely, and it's not a smooth material. So all of these things very, very well thought out, but it does have the problem of fragility and very high price. And the last place would be the Note Air, simply because no matter which pen you choose, the default pen that you get with Note Air is, yeah, the brand new pen, but for me personally, the worst one of the bunch that they have. So I never liked the default pens on Boox platforms, and this one I like the absolute least. It's the cheapest quality that you can get. The design I really don't like. The magnet side, while it's there, it is a super smooth surface, it's flat, it's not indented, so it can't really hold properly to the device. As you can see, it can just fall off immediately, which is certainly not the case with the Remarkable. So it's just an afterthought. This is not a well-built pen, and it just doesn't suit the device nicely. Furthermore, I really don't like the plastic tip, how it feels. It's way too hard plastic on a glassy surface by default without screen protector or anything. It just feels really bad. With the screen protector, it's a little better. No eraser function, no button, no nothing. And also a problem, like with the Remarkable, people reporting and posting images that after a drop or a harder press, the design is such that this part here that holds the nib actually breaks off. So definitely a design and build quality issue. Now, there are some resellers that allow you to actually buy the Note Air with their new triangular pen, which is indeed much, much better than this one. So it's still cheap quality. It doesn't have a button, but it does have a eraser on the back that works nicely. And most importantly, it uses the felt tip or the soft nibs that are exchangeable, which feel eons better than this monstrosity here. So but it doesn't have a magnet, so you can't snap onto it at all. And also the build quality, the material of the pen itself for extended use, I personally found it to be way more uncomfortable than, for example, the Staedtler Jumbo, which is the same triangular type of design, or especially the standard pen on the Supernote, which ends up in that triangular shape, but the build quality and design is just way ahead of this thing. So as far as the default pens go, Note Air definitely scores the lowest. As far as battery life goes, the Boox platform, in this case Note Air, scores the highest, simply because they have the best battery management and the highest battery here and the best battery life combined overall. So for me, I think that the Note Air scores 9 because it has excellent battery life compared to everyone else. Good performance from Remarkable 2, definitely a huge improvement over battery management of the Remarkable 1 device. You can expect to have around 7 to 12 days of active combined use of this device in real-world scenario of battery life. So if you have to charge it once a week, that's definitely fine. That's not a problem at all. It's just that this thing lasts for a long time, and you can easily, I always get like 2.5 or 3 weeks of combined use of really a lot of things. So it's just better battery life than Remarkable 2. In this case, Supernote A5X currently scores the lowest at 5, simply because it's not as good at battery management and handling battery life as these two other platforms are. And more importantly, it doesn't have a power off feature. So it never powers off. And that would be fine, because in the case of Remarkable, for example, they were able to lower the performance of the standby mode to close to nothing. And it's really amazing how it works. Now, Android is not able to do that. That's why there is a auto power off feature on the Note Air. However, Supernote doesn't have that, and as a consequence, you will basically flip the cover back, let it sit for a couple of days, and it can actually drain itself without doing anything, just being in a standby mode. And that's the last thing you want, is to open up your device and for it to have significantly lower charge than it had when you left it, or the worst case scenario, that it's actually completely empty. And that is something that is currently happening with the Supernote A5X. Now, a note that I would add here is that Supernote A5X just came out, and it's not unreasonable to expect and hope that better battery management and auto shutdown feature is something that's going to come in coming updates, because I think that would be a very necessary addition to this platform, and then it's going to be way better. However, as it is now, it scores the lowest and Note Air scores the best. Ergonomics are a combination of different things. So what do I score in the ergonomics? So, for example, how nicely it sits in the hand, how comfortable it is to use, and how versatile it is to use, for example, for landscape, portrait, or left-handed and right-handed way of using it. So just so you know what are the criteria that I'm taking into consideration. And when you take those into consideration, Note Air scores the highest at 9, simply because it's really well designed. For me personally, this wider format simply sits way better. The wide side here, that's much wider than on the Remarkable 2, is extremely comfortable to actually use in a one-handed operation and to even write with one-handed functionality. Furthermore, we have this is the only device that you can actually flip in a horizontal mode or landscape mode, and even if you use it as a screen or just as a reader, there are no distracting different widths for the sides themselves, which is really cool. Another point is that it's the only device out of these here that has the gyroscope, so it has auto rotation option. So it doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed, or what your preference may be, the device itself and the OS and the platform will rotate in at least in the portrait mode. One note is that currently the note taking or the notebooks, they do not have a landscape function yet. Maybe that's something that will change in the future, but as a portrait device, it functions equally well and equally comfortably for left-handed and right-handed use, and it's the only device out of the bunch that actually has that. So as such, it scores 9. Remarkable 2 is a very close second place by scoring 8, because as I said, it's an excellent design, really outstanding design, and the manufacturing, it's just a wonderful thing to actually use. However, again, the platform itself is a little bit limiting, and there is this problem that there's no real landscape option to use it. And even if there was a landscape option, we do have this one side that's significantly wider. But more importantly, for left-handed or right-handed use, this device simply is not good enough, and it's not thought out enough to be well used for people who favor the left hand. So that's definitely the thing that kind of pegs it down a bit as far as the score goes, but other than those things, really, really good. Supernote is a very well respected 7, but unfortunately at the last place when compared to these guys, it doesn't trail by much behind them. It's just feels a little bit older. So while I really love the design itself, and I really do love how it feels, it's extremely comfortable and extremely good to use, and it feels light. I believe it's the lightest of the bunch, or at least it feels like it. It's still the thickest one, and that's part of that thickness is the only thing that actually kind of deters from the experience. However, it does have this amazing slider which changes the overall experience, and it does actually improve the ergonomics of the experience and all that kind of stuff. The materials are very nice. They're plastic, yes, but there's a reason for it, for the durability. But it doesn't have the auto rotation feature. It is thicker, and in landscape form you do have this width here which disturbs the symmetry of reading, so it does those things combined take a little bit away from the score. Either way, I think all three devices are very comfortable to use. However, the Note Air has a combination of features and functionalities that simply make it the best. And for those who are curious, what about Note 3? Well, I would grade it much lower than either of these because I really don't like the ergonomics of that device, and that's one of the main problems that I have with that device. So that one would probably be at around 4, just for comparison's sake. Now, the performance is combined performance and overall impression, and without any surprise, I mean, this is a complete monster. I mean, it's just a powerhouse of a device, and as such, it gives the absolute best performance, be it whatever you want. It is just overall operations, it just performs really well, and I grade it at 9. Now, Remarkable 2 has made some strides, definitely some strides in the menu diving and all that kind of stuff. However, it's a much more limited type of a platform, and I would have expected better performance out of this. So, but even so, if I just look at it the way it is, what it offers, and what's the performance for what it offers, it's really good. And at 7.5, it could have been better if it had better performance as far as really large PDF files go, as far as really large notes go, because it can get bogged down fairly quickly if you start handling multiple layer, multiple strokes, drawings, or really large notebooks. It can get to slow down, and of course that dreaded EPUB formatting, which is just absolutely, yeah, a disgrace basically to have that for 3 years. I think that there could be a way to easily optimize this thing, especially if they would optimize the strokes, which is also causing the jagged line issues. Then your strokes would be easier, it would be less data, to handle it, and it will kind of speed up the platform. But unfortunately, they're not doing any of those things. They're just doing some other things, I guess. But yeah, as it is, it's a good performer. It could be a lot better, but unfortunately at the moment it's not, which remains to be seen if they do it. It certainly does have the potential. The platform and the hardware, they do have the potential to be better, but at the moment it's on a second place. In the third place, I scored Supernote A5X at around 6. It may seem a little bit harsh, but I don't think it is, simply because it is slower than the rest of them. And for me, the biggest problem is that the upgraded quad-core platform inside the CPU is simply not offering that much of a performance bump when you compare it to the older A5 platform, for example. And in the end, it's the thing that I always talk about. It's very comfortable to use and I really do love it, but you do have to get used to that it's a little bit of a laid-back device. Everything you do, it's a little bit laid back. Now, for me personally, it never interferes with anything, but when you do compare it with these other guys, it is a little bit on the slower side. Now, I'm not talking just single thing like a page flip or opening a file or anything. I'm talking overall impression. So because I've been using all of these devices now for quite a long time, yeah, the overall impression of the speed and the performance of the device. So that's what this score actually represents. Customizability is something that's to me personally, very, very important, because these are the devices that hopefully you'll be spending quite a lot of time daily with them, writing, reading, or anything like that. So everyday interaction. I believe that customizability is a very important factor, and ability to make it your own, so that you enjoy the experience more, so that you can customize it to your own needs, so that you have a more productive platform. And as such, unquestionably, the Note Air is the absolute winner, and I think I give it a perfect score, because you can do anything you want. You can customize it in any way you want, and some of the options may be a little bit hidden and you have to kind of dig a little bit to find them, but the important part is that they're there. You are able to do custom templates, custom screenshots, custom power screens. You can rearrange your icons in here. You can rearrange the top bar. You can rearrange the floating bar. You can customize pretty much most of the stuff that you can think of. You can customize and arrange so that it actually fits your own workflow and your own work needs. And as such, it is really, really good. Now, Supernote A5X or the X platform is the new one, and the X stands for like infinite or infinite possibilities. However, it's not as open as the Note Air, but it is also extremely, extremely easy to customize the things that matter. The things that matter most, such as custom templates, custom sleep screens, of course that matters most, but more importantly, that side menu. You can rearrange icons, you can add them, you can delete them, you can, again, make the experience your own. You can customize your folders the way you want, your structure, and all these kind of things, so really, really good. Unfortunately, Remarkable scores absolute lowest at 2, because it does not allow even the most basic things to be customized at all, which is completely baffling, and again, after 3 years. So that is totally baffling to me, that there is simply an unwillingness to allow the user base to make this device their own or more functional by being able to simply add your own templates. Let's forget about everything else, but just adding your own templates. If the argument is no distractions and it's writing only device, notebook replacement, fine, but I need to be able to add my own custom templates without the requirement of hacking and potentially bricking my device and losing my templates every time I get actually an update. So I see zero reason for not opening that up. There's so many ideas that I actually mentioned that could be able to, center around template sharing, template design, and all this kind of stuff, but we have none of those. So you are stuck. Yes, it has a lot of templates, but it's never going to be enough. A device like this needs to give you an option of adding custom templates, and it just doesn't have them. And then it doesn't have anything else, of course, to customize, but I'm trying to focus on the most primary and most important things. So yeah, as such, it definitely scores the lowest. Versatility is a category which means, of course, how versatile a device it is. So this depends on your individual needs, but I think it's an important category overall because these are pricey devices, and it's an important consideration to have in mind. If you buy a device that's exceptional at one thing but really bad at another, does that mean that you will have to own two devices or not? Or can one device actually serve a really good purpose for all of your needs? So that's the versatility thing. And in this category, Boox Note Air definitely scores the highest, simply because it's a completely open platform with an Android, and you have close to infinite possibilities of doing things. Yes, you have to learn how to do these things. No, they're not right into your face, and no, they're not user-friendly. They're probably all over the place. But the point is, if you want to, you can. That's not the case with Remarkable, for example. However, as far as versatility goes, when you take everything into consideration, the Boox platform and the Note Air, especially because of the auto rotation and all these kind of things, it's one of the most versatile e-ink devices out there, so it scores 8/10. Very close second place is a Supernote A5X, simply because it's an excellent reader, exceptionally good note-taking device, and it also is starting to add additional support that we've seen through the addition of third-party apps. Now, you can't really install your own apps, but we are getting third-party apps. In this case, we got Kindle. Now, it also has direct support of creating Word document and typing Word document files, using them with email and all these kinds of things, all packed up in this non-distraction, easy access, easy to kind of use on an everyday basis platform, which is exceptionally good. So it is a very, very versatile device, a little bit more limited than the Boox Note Air, but overall a really, really capable overall performer. Remarkable 2, unfortunately, scores the lowest at 4, simply because, yeah, it's a closed-off platform and it's not intended to be a versatile device to begin with. A device that was designed not to be versatile is, of course, gonna score low in a versatility mark. Why is it then in the category? The competition offers different things, and if you as a user are choosing between these things, it's something that you have to be aware of. So if you are looking for just note-taking, it's good. However, these guys have better actual note-taking functionalities. The feel is amazing, but the functionality is better on these guys. The reader is absolutely abysmal on the Remarkable platform. So as such, it's a closed-off platform. It does a couple of things. It does them really well, but the rest of the stuff is, yeah, it just doesn't do them almost at all. And of course, there's no mention of installing third-party apps. Now, somebody will say, well, it's a Linux. I can install whatever I want on it. No, you can't. You can hack it, but you can't install it. There's a world of a difference between hacking your device and having a platform support the ability to install custom dictionaries, custom fonts, custom templates, or whatever it may be. So no, I'm again not talking about hacking your device. You can hack any of these devices, but that's not something that we're going to be covering because it voids your terms and conditions of use, and it probably voids your warranty, and it can lead to breaking your device. So yeah, not a thing. Now let's talk about the flipbook cover options that you have for each of these devices. So each one can be bought with an optional flipbook cover. So let's cover again left from right. So first one is the Remarkable, and here I have the cheaper option, the canvas option of the flipbook cover. You also have the folio and all that kind of stuff, and this is a really well built flipbook cover. It's light, very thin. It has a magnetic side here so that the device actually slots in completely effortlessly, and then you just kind of put it back up and that's it. However, it's not the best, and there are definitely problems with this. So the first problem is that either Remarkable 2 doesn't have a built-in functionality to wake up with the flipbook cover opening, but this combination is the only, or this guy doesn't have a little magnet here to trigger, or here to trigger the wake up sleep function, because that's how it works. You have a tiny little magnetic strip here that kind of bonk, wakes it up or puts it to sleep. Now that's a big problem for a very exclusive device that's the highest price of all of the competitors here by a very large margin, and for the complete package I'm talking about. And it's just a huge oversight. So every single competitor has that, Remarkable doesn't, and that auto wake up sleep function is simply, yeah, not a good thing. Now, a second problem is with the magnets themselves. Now, while this is unbelievably sexy and super cool, like really amazingly feels so modern in 2020 or 2021, it's just really, I can't get enough of how nice it feels. Inherently, on an everyday basis, and when you're not just admiring the device and admiring the design itself, if you're basically not nerding out over it, there are some practical issues, and for that I have to put the pillow down. And the issue is this. There. It didn't take much force at all to just get it to slide out and fall off. So I can even do it with one shake. So it really doesn't take much to get the device to slide out, and that's it. So while the magnet is very nice indeed and sexy and funky, it is flawed, and it does have that issue. So those two issues do affect the score. So I would grade it, even though it's really wonderfully made and designed, it's just really gorgeous thing to have. It does have these functionality issues. So as such, it scores a 7. Then we have the Supernote A5X, which is made out of premium leather, but you also have canvas options, so you can choose whatever you want. And they are using their proprietary system, which is something that is going to mechanically hold your device in place with the flipbook cover. You slide it in, it slots in, it makes a click, and you're done. So it's super simple to do. The build quality is excellent. It doesn't do a magnetic malarkey or anything like that, which again, super cool, nerdy, and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you want your pen and the device to keep together. You don't want to rummage around your bag or something, or lose the pen somewhere along the way. And that's why this strap just works absolutely perfectly. Plus, it looks amazing, and you can just take it, right, put it down, done. So it's a wonderful package. It's so nicely balanced, beautifully made. Everything is nice, and it has auto wake up and sleep function. And it's the fastest auto wake up performance out of all of the competitors. So of course Remarkable 2 doesn't even have it, but it is actually quite faster at waking up and going back to sleep, more importantly waking up, than the Boox platform. It's almost instantaneous. It's just really incredible how they do it. It's a single screen refresh, and the system is not doing anything. I really, from a nerdy geeky side, appreciate that, because all it takes is a screen refresh and nothing else. That to me is very impressive, and that's not an easy thing to do. So just from a nerdy point. So I really do appreciate that. But flipbook cover has the auto wake up and sleep function. Why isn't it a perfect score? Well, simply because the nature of a flipbook cover is such that it covers back and front. But as a cover itself, it leaves the corners here, especially the outer corners, exposed, which is the truth for any of these flipbook covers. However, that's the only alternative that we do have. So that's the only thing for me, as far as I'm concerned, why it's not a perfect score. Otherwise, it's damn near perfect and an excellent flipbook cover, so it gets a 9. And now we get to the Note Air and the controversial flipbook cover that it comes along with. Now this one, in my opinion, unjustly so, has a bad reputation, simply because it has these 3M sticky tapes, a very unconventional method of sticking your device to it. Now granted, definitely not the best way to do this, right? However, I have been sticking and unsticking this thing now for, this is going to be close to 4 months, and I do it several times a week, and they are still holding. Are they showing signs of wear? Yep, they are. So eventually they will wear out, but they are holding and they are doing things well. So the build quality is good. if you don't look at the sticky tape thing, the overall build quality is actually quite good. And no, it's not leather, it's actually rubberized. It has antibacterial material on top to keep it clean, which none of the others do. So the leather and the canvas, they will all over time absorb dirt, bacteria from your hands and everything. This one actually has an antibacterial layer. That's something that quite a lot of people don't even mention. As far as I'm concerned, at least, that's definitely a plus on an everyday use. Then, so let's put it in and see how it actually looks and what it can do. So putting it in is definitely less comfortable than Remarkable and feels less secure than the mechanical hold of the Supernote, right? But you just align it, press it, and you're done. It has the auto sleep and wake up function. So now it's just gonna wake up. But as you can see clearly, it is definitely slower as far as performance goes for waking up than the Supernote A5X. However, as the cover goes, it has that functionality. It has these really not well designed rubber feet, which are basically, the idea is that you unstick the cover, plastic cover here, so that it's sticky and it sticks to here and then it keeps it closed. I have no idea who actually designed that and who thought it was a good idea, but it is there. None of the devices actually have a magnetic holder that's going to keep the lid on top. So that's something that's missing on all of them. But this one at least tries to kind of remedy it as with this kind of approach, which I really don't like, but it is there. So it is definitely something that the competitors don't have. It's not the best and you don't have to use it. I don't, so I keep it like this. But as an option, it's there. Now, one thing that no other flipbook has is the multifunctionality of actually flipping it like this. So it does have this bend here that it provides the ability to actually use it in a landscape mode. And honestly, this is something that I do use. I would put my keyboard here and then I actually type and then it works. And when you're done, you just simply flip it back and it works. So no, it's not the fanciest one of them all, definitely not, but from a practical side of things, and some things are definitely done clumsily, but from a practical side of things and an everyday use kind of things, it does work and I do prefer it. I think it gets bad reputation because of those sticky tapes, but I would just like to try and prove a point. Here's the pillow. So I'm shaking way harder. There we go. So I had to shake with two hands a lot harder than I had to with the Remarkable flipbook case, and then it unstuck. And also, if this remained stuck for a couple of days, if I actually didn't, if I cleaned the surface, stuck it in, and left it there for maybe a day or two, it would actually stick even better. So when compared to the Remarkable 2, these two little strips, as ugly as they look, in reality, on the practical side of things, they actually hold the device way better. And as for the question, does it leave sticky marks? No. All you need to do is simply wipe off and the marks are gone. So it does not leave any kind of sticky residue or anything, as you can see. So those are the concerns that usually people have with this kind of design, and I just am attempting to kind of answer them. And one final note, this is Mark 1. Boox have actually issued now recently a Mark 2, which is the same design like this, but it does have this bucket type of a holder that's holding all four corners of the device. So it's a little bit thicker and a little bit more heavy than this, but it doesn't use that sticky tape. It uses mechanical design to hold your device. So that's definitely something that's going to be, or is already, an option for the Note Air to consider. I'm comparing this one, so that's basically what's graded here. I just want you to know that there's a mechanical version also now available for Note Air from Boox. But either way, I score the default one with the sticky tapes 7, same as the Remarkable one, simply because it holds better. Even though they're sticky tapes, it holds the device better and more securely. It has antibacterial layer on top. It has the auto wake up sleep function, and it has the ability to kind of hold your device in a landscape mode should you choose to do so. So those are all definitely A pluses that this holder doesn't have. However, for me, the winner, I score it 9, is the Supernote A5X holder, simply because the design is practical, good, efficient, and on an everyday use, you never have any issues with it. Holds your pen, wakes up your device, and is never in the way, and it holds the device mechanically without being ugly, heavy, or thick. So for me, that's definitely the winner. And we finally come down to the value for money. None of these devices are cheap, that's a given. However, there are definitely differences. Remarkable too, there's a misconception that this costs $399. No, it does not. So for those who pre-ordered, they got a really good deal, and there was actually significant stuff, but that was months ago. That's not valid for 3 months now. So I'm going to be talking about the prices that you can buy these devices for today, and what are the stock prices. Now, there are going to be deals here and there, especially on the Note Air. Depends where you buy it and all that kind of stuff. However, I'm going to be concerning myself with the stock price. And Remarkable 2 ranges from the cheapest option with the tablet, folio, and the cheapest pen is $517. So not $399, it's $517. $399 for the device, $49 for the pen, standard pen, and $69 for a standard folio. That's not the flipbook cover, it's the folio. That is the cheapest option, but what most people would want to go for is the option with the pen with the eraser, Marker Plus, which costs $99. And the flipbook cover, and most of the people are going for the premium leather option, which is $149. The total for that, the most exclusive or the expensive option with the Marker Plus and the premium flipbook folio, is $647. And that's a lot for a device that is so limited and simply basically overshadowed by the competition. So it's the most limited and the most expensive one of the bunch here, and as such it scores lowest at 5. Supernote A5X ranges between $499 for the whole thing included, which means the device, the standard pen, and the flipbook cover, not the leather one, but the canvas one. So that will set you back $499. If, however, you choose the most exclusive option, which is the flipbook cover, which is the leather flipbook cover, and the Lamy Star pen, or the Star package, that one costs $569. Still a lot of money, but you get a hell of a lot more worth than you do on the Remarkable. So as such, it scores at 8 for value for money. And we also have the Boox Note Air. Now that one's pretty set in its ways. You don't have many options to choose from. You get the flipbook cover, which is the way it is, so whatever you like or not. There's a Mark II version coming out. I think that's a little bit more pricey, but more on that later. What we have currently is the one that I showed, and the whole thing costs, depends which market, which warehouse you choose, so it varies, and there's some deals, but it varies between $467 and $479. So seemingly on the face of it, it's the best value because you get the device, you get the screen protector, you get a pen, and you get the flipbook cover. So clearly the best choice, right? Well, not really. I marked it as 7, a grade lower than A5X, simply because the screen protector that you get, if it's not pre-applied, it's virtually impossible, or for an average user, incredibly difficult to apply successfully. And the default pen that you get is is really, really bad. So that means that right out of the box, you are probably going to want to invest into a better pen and a custom screen protector. And those combined, if you shop around, you can get a good screen protector for maybe 15 bucks or 14 bucks. And if you shop around for the pen, you can get it, probably a Samsung pen sometimes even goes on sale for 30 bucks. So if you are patient and you shop around, you probably can get your better pen and a screen protector for about 50 bucks, 40 bucks. So that's still then combined to actually get it to a good experience, as equally good as on the Supernote A5X. You would need to add those things, and then you cross that $500 threshold, and you're in $520, $530 threshold. So that's the reason why I actually graded the Boox Note Air lower than the Supernote A5X. As an overall package, I think the best value for money that you get, if it works for you, is the Supernote A5X. However, keep in mind that if you're thinking about the splashing out for the more pricier version with the Lamy pen or anything like that, then you need to consider and actually weigh out the options of how much it would cost you to actually get the Note Air with the different pen and all that kind of stuff. Put it down on paper, compare, and see what works best. But out of the box, default values, stock prices, I think that Supernote A5X edges out the Note Air a little bit. So those are the scores and the breakdown of the categories. And what are the results? In the third place, at 6.04 overall score, is the Remarkable 2. Truly an object of desire, which is something that they said that they were trying to do. So they managed to do that. Unfortunately, as it was on the release, now almost half a year later, it still suffers from that really limited and in some cases dysfunctional software platform, and that actually is pulling back the device considerably. I think it could score a hell of a lot more, but currently that's what it is. It is a really good device for note-taking. However, it doesn't have the best note-taking capabilities because it doesn't have note search, word note search, or anything like that. So if what you're looking for is something to doodle, draw, and primarily draw and sketch, and do some note-taking that you don't have to bookmark or search or anything like that, and maybe occasionally read a light document or two, then this will definitely work. If you're looking for something more robust functionality-wise, then you should look elsewhere. In a second place, scoring 7.62 in an overall score, is the newcomer, the Supernote A5X. Now, I really do have to stress out that I love this device. As an overall package, it's an incredible package and it's an incredible device, and the scores did put it lower than the Note Air. It's obvious by now that the only one remaining is the winner, so that's the Note Air. But even though the scores themselves put Supernote A5X lower than Note Air, and practically yes, that's true. By no means does that mean that Note Air might be a better device for you. So I think that you have to pay close attention and maybe check out my reviews and other reviews as well to get a better understanding of of what each platform offers, because Supernote A5X offers some really important advantages over any other platform, mostly as far as note-taking goes, because it has excellent writing feel, excellent note-taking capabilities with the use of titles and keywords, basically mapping out your handwritten notes into a table of contents, which is freaking amazing. Excellent pens with everlasting nibs and all these kind of things, and a really outstanding user experience feedback. The way that this device is actually geared towards human users, not tech users, is really exceptionally good. So those are really important ones, and I think that if your primary use case scenario is writing, lots of writing and note-taking, and the ability to be able to organize and search and do things with your notes afterwards, even a year after, I think Supernote A5X is a very tough cookie to beat. And with the winner, with the overall score at 8.29, is the Boox Note Air. So as I've discussed, it's the most versatile, most powerful, and it does just tons and tons of things exceptionally well. Who would this device be geared towards? Well, if what you're doing is primarily or equally a lot of reading, really big documents and note-taking and multitasking of some sorts. And I'm not talking about games or anything like that. That's not what these devices are for. So just no. I'm talking about multitasking such as having your Kindle open at the same time and having a split view and screen sharing and all of these other things. Well, then it's really not possible to beat this one because it just offers the most power, most versatility, most functionality, and it does a lot of these things exceptionally well. So Note Air, as far as I'm concerned, would be the best all-rounder device in the 10.3-inch e-ink category of tablets. I hope that this video helps you guys to actually wrap your head around these devices. If you are looking for an e-ink device, it is becoming a bit of a complicated thing. One thing that I would mention, where does Note 3 rank in all of this? It would rank a little bit lower as far as I'm concerned than the Note Air, simply because it has worse ergonomy and it doesn't have auto rotation and all of these kind of things. They do amount to a significant thing that you have to kind of keep in mind. Yes, it has more storage, but it has a different screen and blah, 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 blah. For that, you can actually look at my quick comparison between the two. As far as I'm concerned, in the 10.3 e-ink tablet categories, these are your three main contenders. And hopefully this video helps you get closer to making a well-informed decision of which device is best for your needs. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell to get notified when the new videos come out on my deep guide. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!